Good morning, Peggies. You know, the RV industry does their very best to make sure that your rig is right when it rolls off the assembly line, but that's the last time it's going to be perfectly right. And I think this is across all manufacturers. It has nothing to do with where you get it. You know, you have all these expectations about your rig and its reliability and stability, and that's, I think in most people who purchase goods, we have that expectation. But your RV's a little different than popping down to Best Buy and getting that new range or microwave or TV. It's a rolling earthquake, and things are going to happen. And doing repairs on the fly can save you a lot of money, a lot of aggravation, and a lot of residual damage, and especially in the case of water. So let's take a look at a couple of places where I installed some manual shutoff valves so that we could actually mitigate some pretty bad leaks that happened just as a result of rolling down the road. So let's take a look at the most recent one, and I have some video footage of one we did back in May at our Boston Cape Cod trip. So here comes some stuff. So it's hard to kind of tell from this, but if you can see, the roof of our outdoor kitchen is actually the countertop of our vanity sinks. And as you see, those are the drains, and you can see the bottom of the sink there. So this is the roof of the vanity sink, and under there, of course, are the water fittings that connect up the two sinks. They basically daisy chain off one line, and that one line feeds both sinks with a couple of compression fitted PEX T connectors. So what had happened is the faucet connections on these loosened up while we're rolling down the road, and I think one of the compression fittings might be bad too. And water was leaking down behind the refrigerator here, which you can see is that silver panel. It's hard to see, and it runs down all the way the length of the entire refrigerator, and it was cascading and dropping down to the back corner of this refrigerator and then pooling across this whole countertop, and it was causing a ground fault, GFI to go off, which is good. That's what the GFI is supposed to do. But it was causing a problem, and we were taking on water. So once it was identified, quick trip to Lowe's, and a couple of shark bite fittings later, as you can see, I've installed one on the cold and the hot water. So now I can isolate those two sinks from getting any water, and the line goes up, that red line and the white line that you see cut now. I just have to reconnect those to the other end of the shark bite to do my testing. Once I've got this sorted out, I just left them disconnected because, I got to put it back on later, so I figured I'd do that at my leisure. But we're gonna get it connected up, and we'll be back in business pretty quickly. It's just an annoying thing at the moment, so we're gonna get that worked on this week. But that's one way that we mitigated the water leak. And it's really, again, it's nothing more than a couple up there that need to get tightened down. And we had almost an identical issue in the water heater back here, which was just a simple, it's just a fitting that needs to get torqued down. And the good news is I can now isolate those two circuits, and I'm really enjoying putting these things in because you never know when something's going to loosen up. Some of you may remember last year we ran into an issue with our water pump, and pardon the garage, it's a holy reckoning. So it's like the holy hand grenade went off in here, but that'll get sorted once we get where we're headed. But we had our water pump replaced by the factory, and it's doing its job, and it's great, and it's not leaking anymore. But I told them to leave the manual ball valve in there that I put in. But essentially the thing that's gone on is these connectors right here are loose going up to the sink, and I've tightened them down and maybe throw a little more compression on one of the clamps underneath. And luckily I do have those tools somewhere in here. Oh, here it is right here. That's the pipe cutter. And these tools, by the way, are a little expensive to get started, but you know, if you have an RV, you're probably going to want to source them. One of them is a PEX compression wrench. Oh, here it is. Right here. And this tool allows you to tighten compression fittings just by simply crimping on that end, and then you just squeeze on this and it pulls that ring tighter as you go. Sorry for the shaky cam there, but yeah, this is a SharkBite PEX clamp pincher tool. That's the actual name of it. The other one is just a pipe cutter for PEX, and I just wanted to point out that our rig is 2021, and you know, we've got about, I don't know, about 6,000 miles on it. But you're never going to be able to tell for sure why something's going to loosen up and get crazy. So this is a way to just, you know, get handy. And we're trying to cut things off at the pass. But there's another shorter video talking about what this pump was causing us headaches with. But I thought it would be cool to do 2 of these at the same time. Talk to you soon. We had a really bad leak coming from our water pump down there. The backflow sensor was, or the backflow gate was pouring water into our freshwater tank at an alarming rate. It would fill up in about 4 hours. We put 40 gallons in that freshwater tank, and then it would begin to overflow and leak. So I had to install this Johnny on the spot gate valve manually to keep the water from flowing back down in there. Now, you know, that might sound like a trivial thing, but part of what that was causing was a very significant issue, which I'll get to in a second. The other quick thing we did, which just made a lot of sense, is we installed these quick connect backflow lines. This one has a cap on it, so it's never going to have anything come back in here, and they're pressurized, which is also pretty cool, because now our freshwater line is on a quick disconnect, and so are the back flushes. But yeah, so what was happening is as the freshwater tank would fill, it began to overflow. So we would have a giant mass of water coming out of that main black overflow pipe, and these 2 white overflow pipes. The cold water overflow on the left would start gushing water, and as you can see, in terrain like this, it's mostly dirt, there's no gravel. That would be very problematic. It would wash this out pretty quick, and that's the kind of thing that can get you kicked out of the site, because they don't know whether you're leaking, you know, gray water or nasty water. So we've decided that we were going to fix that up